excited and wearing fancy clothes. You're here with your host, Mick Parker.
That's me. I'm here. It's so great to be here. I just flew in from Tampa, and boy, did I get a blowjob on the plane.
And also, you're here with your co-host, Morgan Mousick. Oh my God, thank you so much. I can't believe how amazing I look today. And I went out and got a mani and pedi. And there's my date. I see you, Brad. Brad Pitt, you guys might have heard of him. He's single.
Wait, you think if you were an Emmy announcer, Brad Pitt would be your boyfriend?
Well, he's single and his standards might be really low right now.
That's true.
You don't know what he's
been
fucking
through some
right now.
crazy past relationships.
He might be into what I got.
You know what? Who isn't? In fact,
my
I would say
God.
pretty much everyone in Austin, Texas has had sex with you. So that shows
You know what? That was a
they're
little
willing.
shade, but there was a moment there where you insinuated that like what I had to offer was good and that everyone wanted it. So I'm gonna mark that one up as a win. Thank you very much.
It's totally a case of filler words being compliments accidentally.
Well,
who wouldn't? Moving on to my insult,
He
but
said,
you
she said.
welcome back, everyone, to another episode.
Yes, we're so excited to be here today, and we are here to talk all things about the 69th Primetime Emmy Awards.
But I thought we were doing the Oscar Awards.
Oh, baby, you fucked it up.
Fuck, all my information is useless. It's like I'm Morgan today.
Aww.
You didn't see that one coming, did you? I got
hurt
you.
a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
I love your
okay.
information.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Your lipstick color looks really good with your glasses today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, every now and then I try to match things up real good.
It looks
Not
great.
often.
I would like to point out to you also that I thought that the minute I saw you, and I literally said to myself, I'm going to save that for the podcast so that I'm not just mean on the podcast.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, you got to get a little sugar with that spice.
Yeah, people have been lighting bags of dog shit on fire in front of my apartment because I'm so hateful to you. And I'm afraid they're going to tear me limb from limb, actually.
That's funny. If anyone else is looking for Mickey's apartment, you can find it.
Wait. This is horrible.
In Austin, Texas. Okay. Well, we are excited to talk about the Emmys, and the Emmys are like kind of an interesting thing because they run, so it's happening in the middle of the year, which like all the other award shows happen at the beginning of the year and chronicle the whole previous year. But because the Emmys do primetime Emmys from like basically like June to the next summer, they get to cover all the like launch dates. So there's a lot of stuff included in the Emmys that missed out on the Golden Globes because they just hadn't aired yet. So there's some new stuff out there. One you might have heard of, The Handmaid's Tale.
No, never heard of it.
Well, speaking of things, facts and figures associated with the Emmys, I culled a couple for you today.
Oh, you're so good at that.
Thank you.
See, I support you.
I'm smart.
You're a winner. You're a good person.
Okay, I'm gonna clip just the affirmations out and just like play it to myself over and over again. It's gonna be totally out of context. You're gonna say someone else is pretty, but I'm gonna clip in. It's gonna be like, Morgan, you're so pretty, and Morgan, I love you.
Just don't forget, affirmations are all well and good, but don't forget that we all die alone.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Just keep that in mind.
So speaking of dying alone, the Emmys are actually holding pretty strong. So this year, there were 21,000 plus voting members of the TV Academy. Now, I cannot define for you what the TV Academy is, but are they accepting applications? May I study with them? Because I have been doing my homework.
You would like to be an Academy member.
I would.
I will give you more information about that once we get to game section.
Oh, nice.
I can actually fill in.
So, and they had over 400 TV shows to choose from in making their nominations. But there's a lot of repeats because a lot of the good shows are just good in every category. So the shows that came in with the most nominations, Saturday Night Live and Westworld tied with 22 nominations each.
Oh, good for Westworld. I wasn't really sure it would get the love,
I wasn't,
actually.
the world wasn't either. Actually, it was a huge surprise how much love both of those things got. SNL kind of had a resurgence because of election years. They always do really well then. But Westworld, HBO wasn't really sure how it was going to be received, but the Academy loves it.
That's why I say never worry about anything. Just don't think about the future. It doesn't work out great for you. Just don't touch it.
It's like a blank slate. Exactly. That's how I live my every day.
I know. I can tell from what you're wearing.
Huh?
Huh?
Oh, okay.
No, never mind.
So coming in at second/third place, depending on how you look at it, is Stranger Things.
Oh, good for them.
Scoring 19 nominations, which is incredible for Netflix. Netflix is very excited about this.
That was one of the big themes that I think we'll return to later in the podcast, at least some stuff I'm prepared, but like the power of Netflix and Hulu and all of these online streaming services. Yeah.
So 19 nominations, which is a lot. I think it's interesting, though, because kind of following up behind that is Veep with 17 nominations.
They just love the shit out of Veep.
They love the shit out of Veep.
I like Veep, too, to be fair.
Yeah. And then right behind that is The Handmaid's Tale with 13 nominations, which is a huge win for Hulu because they have they have many original series, but none of them have been quite as hyped as things that happen on Netflix, right? So it's kind of new for them to get like nominations for a lot of things.
I've heard various people say that this is the first, Handmaid's Tale is the first Hulu show that they've been obsessed with. Like, a lot of people
I haven't
thought
watched
it, like,
any of the other ones.
Yeah, I can't even name them off the top of my head.
I gave a couple a try, like a couple things, but nothing stuck. But yeah, The Handmaid's Tale was fantastic. And every time you log into Hulu, they tell you at the top of the page, like, congratulations for The Handmaid's Tale. So they're like really excited. But Netflix ain't said shit about Stranger Things. I feel like they should be a little more pumped.
I mean, they're used to being popular now. You can't hate them for that, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's true. So other things, SNL has now launched itself into the most nominated show in the history of the Emmys with over 231 nominations throughout its lifetime. That's crazy.
It's not shocking, though. I mean, SNL is such an institution. For a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, and HBO cleaned up being the network with the most nominations with 111 nominations for HBO.
Jesus, that's lucky. I hope they made a wish.
And the second highest went to Netflix with 91, which is just given heartburn to all the primetime television stations. And NBC made its way into third place with 64. So that's not too bad. Hulu came in with only 18 total. And Amazon came in with only 16 total. So Netflix is definitely leading the charge on that changing frontier of television. But Hulu's working on it.
Well, I think it's important too, like Amazon and Hulu, the nominations they did get were big heavy hitters, right? Things like best show, best actor, best
for
actress.
Sure. Yeah, the things they're doing are quality. There's just less quantity of the quality. And Amazon, I don't know about Hulu, but Amazon is doing movies now too. Like they have Amazon Productions, and I saw The Big Sick recently, and it was an Amazon production, which I thought was startling, and it's most certainly going to take home some Oscars next year. So even if they're not cleaning up here at the Emmys, they have, their fingers in lots of different pots. And I think Netflix is working on that too, but I'm not sure like what kind of movies they have optioned that are Oscar quality. So that's something to think about as well.
And don't forget about old YouTube Red, because they're coming in too. Did you know that?
No, tell me what you're saying.
So YouTube Red is a paid subscription service via YouTube, and you get two like large benefits from YouTube Red. They are not a sponsor, by the way, but if they'd like to be, they should totally contact us.
Come on the podcast.
Yes, come on, BBs, we love you.
We love you.
YouTube Red, you don't have to see advertisements if you subscribe, but also they have content, like they made a movie, I think, about, I forget what it's called, but it's like the only YouTube Red movie, and it's about a dystopian future in which you have to pass a test at 18 in order to live in the United States. As in, if you don't pass the test, they kill you. Yeah. And it's very Handmaid's Tale-ish.
They should have invented that when Trump was a child.
Girl, I know, right? Life would be so different. I mean, but who would I co-host this podcast with?
Wait! That's so rude. I would have studied. I could have got a tutor. Oh, there's so many choices of how I could have passed that test. So rude.
I know. I tickled myself. I'm sorry.
Okay. So that's just all the facts and figures I put together, and I feel like That's a lot of numbers and a lot of things to quantify. But let's talk about what are some things that have happened in the past with the Emmys.
Yes. Okay, so, you know, it was funny because when we were preparing for this podcast, Maury, I hope this doesn't embarrass you, but we had been talking for like a solid 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
And you remember? And then you were like, oh, wait, this is last year's.
So,
right?
yes, I pulled up the 2016 Emmys list and then we started making our predictions about things. And I was like, that's weird. I thought it's been longer since Mad Men ended. Anyway, Don Draper's definitely going to win. He didn't. And I should have known because it was out there in the zeitgeist. But anyways, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, you're super embarrassed. You're so embarrassing. I was embarrassed for you, actually. So, last year, do you remember who the host was?
Oh, Lord.
This is not a great host, in my opinion.
I do not.
I'm not a fan of this man. Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's nothing personal. I just think Jimmy Kimmel's such a bra. Like, I just don't have time for bras.
That's fair.
You know?
And this year's host is Stephen Colbert, which
yes.
he's fantastic, but it's questionable how great this will be.
I thought you love Stephen Colbert.
I love him,
do.
but
okay.
as the host of the Emmys, I don't know. I mean, he'll probably be really funny, but... It's always good when it's someone like Neil Patrick Harris or like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Well, like Andy Samberg was the host in 2015, which I also think...
He didn't do good though, right?
I don't think so. I can't imagine it. I mean, honestly, it's like Was this before we turned it on? I think it was, or started recording. But I was telling you, Morgie, like, this is the first year I've ever even thought about the Emmys. I've never been... I like it, though. Like, I'm into it. I think I might become an award show person, because it's fun.
I love award shows.
It's like cultural sports, kind of.
I love, like, the clothes, for one. The fashion. Mm-hmm. It's so great. And then... I don't always watch all the things, but the things I do watch that I have, like, strong passion for, like... I'm really, like, pulling for The Handmaid's Tale and, like, some other shows I'm really into. And I enjoy kind of the thrill of, like, oh, who's gonna win? And then if the person I love loses, then I can just, like, sit around and shit talk those people with my friends that I have.
Absolutely. Okay. The end part was pretty fantastic. Friends.
What if I, like, on an online community?
First of all, okay, that's more likely. Because in that cardboard box you live in, there's not room for more than one friend, quote unquote,
what if I pull
at
up, like,
time.
a second cardboard box?
Oh, you really care about friendship.
Aww,
that's adorable.
thank you.
You're going to make it someday out of the cardboard.
Anyway, I enjoy award shows.
Speaking of surprises from past years, last year, both Outstanding Actor and Outstanding Actress in Drama were a big surprise. Tatiana...
Malosley or whatever, from Orphan Black.
Yes, exactly.
People were really excited about that.
Yes, which I still haven't seen that show. I'm so sorry. I'm behind. And then Rumi Malek from Mr. Robot on the USA Network, which I don't think of as like Emmy-winning content.
But people love Mr. Robot. And actually, he's one of the big snubs this year because he won last year and he wasn't even nominated this year. Oh, girl.
They said one taste, you had enough.
Have you seen his face?
No, is he beautiful?
I think he's like strangely exotically beautiful.
Ooh.
I'm into it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a good.
Have you seen Mr. Robot?
So I have not, but it's Orphan Black and Mr. Robot are on my list of like must watches. I just like haven't done it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to watch.
Too much.
Right? What did you say? 400 plus shows premiered last year.
Yes, girl. But basically, if it airs on like CBS or one of those channels, like. Don't bother.
Yeah, that seems to be
it's
kind
not
of the takeaway.
It's not going to be as good as like the other stuff. I mean, obviously HBO and Netflix coming in with the heavy hitters. So frankly, that's the kind of stuff I'm focusing on now, catching up on. But I will tell you, network television. If
Give it to them.
Do not put it on Netflix. I will not be watching it.
Won't be seeing it.
I'll have cable. I'll have time. And I'll have
eyeballs.
Some other thing that would have been witty, and I'm mad.
Little known fact, both of Morgan's eyes are made of glass. She's actually
But one of them's
blind.
just like an 8-ball, and the other one's an American flag.
You know, I never noticed until you brought it up. I never noticed. It's not a noticeable thing.
Hella cool. And that's what my eyes looked like. If I go blind, can you arrange for that to happen, please?
Yes, I can definitely do that for you. Yeah. Something that wasn't a surprise last year is Julia Louis-Dreyfus winning Outstanding Actress for a Comedy Series.
Yeah, for Veep.
Fifth year. That was
Isn't
the fifth year in a row.
Crazy?
You know what? I do think it's crazy because I love her. Okay, she's one of my favorite comedic actresses. Yeah. And she's won for every show she's done.
But they stole that from Amy Poehler, right? It was Parks and Rec's final year.
Shocker.
And Amy... You could tell from, like, everything that happened, that she thought she was going to win, and then she didn't, and she gracefully clapped. But they fucking robbed her, because Amy Poehler is a gem.
Yep. And they did she ever win Outstanding Actress?
I don't think so.
I don't think she was snubbed the entire run.
And Parks and Rec is like one of the best comedies ever. And I think Tina Fey even got a chance to win back when 30 Rock was on. It's only fair that whatever we give to Tina, we give to Amy.
Yeah.
It's
oh my God,
fair.
they're best friends. You don't want them to fight.
Ugh, I hate it.
You know how girls are.
All I really want is girls.
So we're going to talk about whether or not that's going to continue again this year. And then the People versus O.J. Simpson last year won 9 Emmys.
People were into that. It's like a mini series. Is it right? There was like 2 O.J. Simpson things.
It was like
I
think it was the limited series, and there's another one this year.
So
that is like, I guess a
he's all over, and then he just got out of prison. I'm interested in the O.J. Simpson stuff, but saturated much.
I know, it's strange, isn't it? I mean, it was a really important cultural touchstone for Americans, so I know it's a story that responds well to being dissected and analyzed deeply, but I'm tired of it.
I am kind of interested in seeing that one that you mentioned, though, because I love like a limited series, because, you know, I'm in for like 8 or 10 episodes and then I'm out.
Totally.
That's the kind of stuff that I can get through, right? Like Big Little Lies, which is we're going to talk about later today. Like that's the perfect kind of content. That's the perfect kind of content for me, because it's not a big commitment, but it's usually really good, because it's basically like 10 separate movies just smashed together.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, and I was watching a roundtable discussion of a lot of the actresses who were nominated, including Renee Zellweger and what's her face?
Do you mean Reese Witherspoon?
Yeah, that's totally
the other one.
Those two girls, women.
Interchangeable.
They're women. I have no feelings. Gwyneth Paltrow too. You can throw that in with them. They're all the same to me.
I feel like they would not be happy to be in the Gwyneth Paltrow pool, because that bitch is crazy.
Is she? Oh, is she the one that
goop?
Yeah, she chews up food and spits into her baby's mouth.
Girl, she does a handful of just questionable things.
Let me ask you this: can I rent her to chew my food? Because sometimes my jaw gets tired.
That's fair. Let's look into it. We'll Google it after this. Speaking of Google, I talked to my dad last night, and he was trying to tell me something, and he was like, "You can Goog it." And I didn't correct him, because I was like, did you just say Goog it? Oh my God, that's so precious. And now I'm going to try to make Goog it happen.
Goog it can totally happen.
Instead of Googling things, let me, I just Googed it. It was whatevs.
Yeah, it's like, if you want to know more about D-Door, just Goog it.
My dad is such a trendsetter.
Oh my God, I love him. And then, for the record, last year, Game of Thrones won 12 Emmys and has won 38 of all time, and that's a new record for like primetime drama. Yeah.
And that's confusing too, because when we were going through the list of nominations, they were noticeably absent from lots of categories.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? It's because they weren't airing during that time. Because they've got this weird new schedule. They don't air early enough to be considered.
Oh, are you sure?
I'm almost positive I read that.
Well, that makes sense. Then I'm sure they'll clean up next year.
Okay, so that was last year. And then just very quickly, in 2015, I will return to the Actress Roundtable later in the podcast, because that's interesting. But in 2015, Viola Davis was the first African-American woman to win lead actress in a drama.
Was beautiful.
It was super. And she's nominated again this year for the same show,
How to Get Away with Murder, which I have never seen.
I haven't seen it either. Was it even air on? Do you know?
It might be an ABC thing.
Oh, okay. And then it was a really good year for women of color, because Regina King from American Crime won, and Uzo Aduba from Orange is the New Black also both won. They both won. So that's amazing. So I read that last year John Hamm won lead actor. No, in 2015 he won lead actor for Mad Men.
Well, maybe he did, girl. Maybe I don't fucking remember.
I mean, yeah.
Good for him.
And then that was 2015 was the first year of the Transparent sweep. It also like
sweeping
always
the comedy
wins.
categories, which is questionable.
Which don't make no sense. Yeah, I think they should be in drama, but nobody done asked me.
Yeah, and I love Jeffrey Tambor, and I'm, like, happy for him.
I love him, too.
But at the same time, it's the same thing with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Like, I have qualms with giving the same people year after year the exact same award. Because, like, sure, I'm sure they deserve it, but there's so many other great comedies, especially now. Like, we're in a really good comedy boom with people like Aziz Ansari out there, and Netflix making their own original comedies, and there's just like a lot of good stuff going on. So I hope to see some diversity in award giving.
Yeah, me too. That's a big hope.
Okay, so transitioning just a little bit, maybe kind of backtracking, I want to talk about some snubs and the nominations for this year. So, do you know the show The Leftovers? It's an HBO thing.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard of
so
it.
people who are fans are like intense fans, but like it's not doing so well, so it got canceled. So it had its final season, and they only picked up 2 nominations for their final season, and people are kind of upset about it. Also on HBO, there's this really great docudrama called The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks.
Yeah, starring Oprah, no less.
Oprah, and Oprah got snubbed by not getting a nomination in the limited miniseries kind of category. So people were really shocked about that, and I'm sure Oprah was like, and I get an award, and you get an award, and then she was like, wait, what?
You know what? She went ahead and went to that actress roundtable, though, that I was telling you about.
Snaps.
Oprah was there, and I guess it's because Henrietta Lacks got nominated as show.
It did,
so
yeah.
They just
it got
pulled
other
her
nominations,
in,
but she noticeably did not.
It's shocking, because I've heard that her performance in that show is stunning, so that's upsetting.
Really interested to see that, because there was a Radiolab episode about Henrietta Lacks, because her whole situation is she had really special genetic code stuff, and they just happened to take some samples. She had some like weird crap, and then she died, and so they took her they like mapped her genome and found some like really interesting like science crap, I don't fucking know, and through that they took her DNA and used it over the decades to like find cures for different diseases, like because her DNA was like adaptable. Like yeah. But they didn't ask her family for permission to do it, so then it became this legal thing, and then her family just wanted to know, you know, what was being done with it. And so basically the whole docudrama is about that, and it's really fascinating. And you guys should check the Radiolab episode out first, maybe, because it's, you know, interviews with like the real scientists who are like dealing with it. So excited to see that. Other snubs, Seth Meyers and Jimmy Fallon weren't nominated for their late night shows, which I could give 2 shits about, but people care about.
Yeah, I don't care about
I'm all in with John Oliver, so I don't care.
I like Samantha Bee, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Again, Transparent was nominated for lots of things, but it was not nominated for Best Comedy this year, which people found interesting because it has kind of had this sweeping factor. I already said this, but Rami Malek was not nominated for Best Actor this year. There was no nominations for Girls in its final season on HBO.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that. That's true.
So that didn't happen. Jude Law was also not nominated for The Young Pope. And The Young Pope got, like, very few nominations, which I didn't see that show, but people were pretty pumped about it. So, I mean, Jude Law is just, like, such a power hitter of a name, so it's just interesting that he wasn't even given a nod. A thing that I am upset about.
Oh, here it's coming.
What no single nomination for Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life.
Oh, shit.
They didn't throw a bone to Lauren Graham, and give no Emmy Sherman Palladino love, and give no Daniel Palladino love, and give no love to nobody.
So I think as, you know, a powerful Gilmore Girls fan, you have no choice but to go to the theater and burn it to the ground.
Burn the entire theater to the ground.
Just because, you know.
I feel like you're right. That's the only choice I'm left with. So,
do it.
We all float down here.
Oh, shit!
So, I was obviously upset about that, but actually not too shocked because people don't feel the same way. Yeah. But I was bummed about that. And the final snub that I noted was there was no nomination for Insecure, which is a great show for women of color that's really powerful on HBO that people are really in love with. She was nominated for Best Actress, I think, at the Golden Globes. So it was just kind of like interesting that she didn't get an Emmy nod. So those are all of really the snubs that I found.
You know, it's so interesting. I feel like every year there are always Emmy snubs, right? And it's because who the people end up voting for, which we'll cover a bit more later on in the episode, they're not necessarily connected to who is actually popular.
Right.
And, like, popularity, you might say, oh, it's a popularity contest.
Like Gilmore Girls colon a year in the life.
Exactly.
Very popular.
Right? Super popular, but not popular with the right people. Right? It's
which
like
is a problem.
the voting people inside the Academy. So that's really interesting because, like, often a lot of big name movie stars get snubbed for Emmys because I don't know why, actually. But we'll return to that a little bit later. But.
I also just thought we could talk briefly about, like, the top 7 most hyped shows for the Emmys this year. I'm leaving SNL out of this because you could talk for days about SNL, so whatever.
Totally.
It's good. Sometimes it's bad. We love it. We hate it. Whatever.
Yeah, it's an institution. It's church.
So, number 1, Westworld. We have done a whole episode covering Westworld. And
it's amazing. If you haven't listened to it, what have you been doing with your life? What?
So we love/hate lots of things about Westworld, and the critics just love it. They just love it. So it got lots of love this year. Stranger Things, which is an upcoming episode we'll be recovering, got so much love, which makes me so happy.
Me too. Yeah. Because it's such a plucky kind of story. And I think it really does. You know, I'm not the hugest Stranger Things fan, but we'll talk about that in the future. But it, amongst people of my age and younger, it was very popular. So it makes me happy to see, like, a nod to, like, younger TV watchers as well.
It has that really great magnetic factor that the first half of it had with the young actors, because you really feel like the kids, they all connect really well. It was just cast incredibly, like, across the board. Winona Ryder fucking crushed her role. Everyone was great, so we will talk more about that, but I'm just really excited to see love being given to those people.
The only thing that could have made it better is if they had actually cast me as they were choosing to do as
you could have been
Barb.
that little girl who shaves her head.
No, I'm not gonna be 9 or whatever the hell her name is. Whatever. I know I'm Barb, obviously.
I can't remember if I sent you, but there's this really great rap, like, video thing that people made where they rap about Barb.
Love it.
And, we'll have to look at it after this, but it's so great. It's like, R.I.P., rest in peace, Barb. Sorry that monster rolled up on you so hard. Anyways, that was great. I saw Barb in something the other day. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
I watched something. What the fuck was it? And Barb. Riverdale. We'll get to this later. I just started watching Riverdale, and Barb had a cameo as a character.
Love
in Riverdale.
it. She looks like she'd be in that show.
Yeah.
Based on the Archie comics, if you don't know.
And Master of None is getting lots of love.
Yes, which I'd love to see.
And we just had a conversation about this, which you've heard other people say, but I thought season 1 of Master of None, which is what's up for grabs right now, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
No, it's season 2.
Oh, great.
It's season 2.
Oh, well, this changes. Maybe I feel differently about the choices I made. I thought season 1 of Master of None was good, and I thought season 2 of Master of None was fantastic. Like, I was obsessed with season 2. Shit. I might have to change some predictions. Okay.
Do it, Morgan.
Season 2 is like really,
it
was written like really well. So
is the Thanksgiving episode in season 2? I haven't seen it yet. I'm starting at season 1. I've watched like maybe half to 3/4 of season 1, and I really like it.
It's good.
I really, really like it. It doesn't make me laugh a lot. I have to tell you, it doesn't make me laugh very often. But I just love Aziz Ansari.
Isn't he so cute?
I love his supporting cast. I think they're strong.
Yeah,
and
they work well together.
Yeah, and it's a really inventive show too. Like how I know this is boring or like repetitious for people who are big fans of the show, but I was really blown away just by the thematic element at the beginning of every episode. I thought I think it's beautiful, smart, and powerful. It kind of reminds me of like the Twilight Zone, except not Twilighty.
And Aziz Ansari, he writes really heavily on the show, which is great, because obviously he's a great writer. But he pulls away from the norm of, like, standardizing shows in, like, so many ways. The writing, the way, the thematic elements for every episode, the way, the continuity, everything. He changes, like, he doesn't subscribe to, like, one genre of that. And also, he doesn't subscribe to the length of an episode. Every episode of Master of None is a different length.
Oh, that's awesome.
Especially in season 2, you'll have an episode that's, like, an hour long, and then one will be, like, 24 minutes long. And it's so powerful because it's so true that you can just wrap a story up in whatever amount of time you need to do it, and like, why do you have to subscribe to like a structure? to a structure. You don't have to. And I love that he's breaking the mold with that.
Ooh, see, so maybe he deserves to be hyped is what we're falling down.
I love him. I think he's finally getting some love that he deserves because he's incredible. The Crown is getting lots of hype. It won lots of Golden Globes this year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about this?
It's a little too slow for me. I watched, like, not even 15 minutes, and I was like, nope, not today. I'm gonna, like, watch something trashy instead.
Well, if you guys know anything about me, add this to your list of knowledge. I love me some period dramedies. Like, is it funny? Is it romance? Is it comedy? Whatever. As long as they're wearing clothes from another time period and putting a filter on the camera, I am there for it. So The Crown was, like, for real up my alley.
Shit,
yeah, I binge watched it. I loved it. It's
so many people raved about it.
It's great. It's a little more dramatic than like the typical kind of period pieces that I watch, you know. But I'm actually looking for some recommendations for some other period pieces. I'm done with Downton Abbey. I've watched The Crown. I've watched Reign. I've watched some of The Tudors. It's good, but it's not like my jam.
I have 3 recommendations for you.
Oh, say 'em
Because
right
you like The Crown, you should watch The Drown, which is about Salem witch trials.
Okay. Oh, you weren't joking.
Mm-hmm,
I thought you were just rhyming words.
And then, because you liked Reign, you should try Sleet.
God damn it! I fucking hate you. If you were Netflix, though, here's a suggestion you would say. You know how Netflix is always like, if you watch this, you'd like this. It don't matter what fucking thing I watch. You're still tickling yourself. You think it's funny.
This bitch was gonna go home and search for The Drown about the Salem.
It could
Which
have
actually,
been.
that's not a bad idea. And if someone
copyright
steals
them.
that, copyright make Parker. I did it in the air.
You did it, and legally you've covered your ground.
Yep, legal and magical. Yeah.
But Netflix is like, because you watch The Crown, you might like Narcos. Which is like not related at all. Narcos, they have tried to get me to watch Narcos after I finished The Vampire Diaries. You might like Narcos. The Crown, you might like Narcos. Some Sarah Silverman comedy special, you might like Narcos.
Right.
I'm like, Netflix, if I fucking wanted to watch Narcos, don't you think I would have done it?
I am so over, this is a small tangent, continuing that. I am so over Netflix's recommendation system. It's horrible.
It's not very good.
It's horrible.
Also, they just added Rogue One, Star Wars Rogue One, Star Wars story. And they always tell you your match. They're like, this is a blah, blah, blah match for you. And they said this is like an 84% match for you. And I'm like, bitch, if you think Rogue One is an 84% match for my demographic, you don't know me.
Yeah.
You don't
They pissed me off a
me.
lot with that shit.
Yeah.
They pissed me off a lot. They also got rid of the gay and lesbian, like, section. There used to be a whole section of movies. Now, it doesn't exist.
That's disappointing. Yeah. You know, though, I find they change the sections up on the app. But if you go online, like if you look at Netflix on your computer, you can look at tons of more categories. So maybe they just like
that's probably why it is, because I was doing it. You know, every time
I don't know why they do that.
Everything's so different when you do it through an Xbox, and that's irritating to me.
And even between Xbox and PlayStation, because I use Netflix on both, it's
be
completely
the same,
different.
like the same skeleton. You know. Anyway,
I agree. So that was a little tangent.
TV viewing tangents.
But IRL in real life, I am looking for
cool.
recommendations for some period piece shows that I can watch. So if you're listening, if you have a recommendation, oh my god, please find us and like tell me, because I will watch it and tell you what I think. Okay, other shows, 2 more shows getting hypes. The Handmaid's Tale, which we love with our baby Elizabeth Moss.
Oh, he's a sweetie. Yeah.
So I feel like I could talk about this for days because I was obsessed with it.
I still haven't watched it. You said you were going to give me your Hulu information.
And then
I forgot to text. Well, I forgot to text you. It's not so bad. But I do want to watch it, and I do love her. I will tell you, and that actress roundtable. By the way, this video, these actress roundtables, it's done by, I don't know, like Entertainment Tonight, and you can find it on YouTube. Literally just search roundtable Emmy actress drama, or, you know, it'll come right up. But it's like an hour-long segment. I have to tell you, Elizabeth Moss did not turn me on in that segment.
Oh, was she like hella boring?
She was very... she seemed like a TV actress. So, like, for example, it would be like Jessica Lange talking about, like, feeling the tension from a role in your bones and how it has to, like, burst out of you at some point in your life if you don't get to express it
Mm-hmm.
on screen, you know, or even if you do. And then when Elizabeth Moss was talking about like getting raped systematically for
Mm-hmm.
Handmaid's Tale, you know, in the fantasy
Like you
world,
do.
she was like, no, I've got a good way of like, you know, I can just leave it there. And like, it's a little awkward while it's happening. But then, you know, after it's just like we make a joke and we move on. And I was like, I think what it is that she's been giving tons of interviews for this and she's just in robotic mode. But what it came off as is like Jessica Lange and,
Reese
what's her
Witherspoon?
face? Nicole Kidman, actually.
Ooh.
Came off
Ooh.
as like actresses.
Yeah.
And Kate Moss. What's her name?
Elizabeth Moss.
Elizabeth Moss. And actually Reese Witherspoon, too, both came off as very, like, ditzy TV actress who, like, is just doing her day job and doesn't really feel the art aspect, which I don't think is true. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't a good look for either of them.
Interesting. I will be Googling that roundtable. Though. I'm interested in watching
It's
that.
fascinating.
So speaking of Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon, the last show that's getting a lot of hype that I'm excited about is Big Little Lies, which was an HBO mini-series, like a limited series. It was, I think, like 12 or 13 episodes. And I avoided watching it for a long time because I just assumed it was some, like, lame soap opera-y, like...
Sure.
Moms in like the hills with like rich white lady problems, which to be honest it is like a little bit, but from the very first episode, the very first shot, it is a murder mystery, which girl, you know I'm there
love
for.
that shit.
And also it's filmed incredibly beautifully and like the most beautiful California scenery. And Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon is good. Nicole Kidman fucking turned it up. Like she was incredible. Alexander Skarsgård was in it. What's her name? Zoe Kravitz was in it.
Ooh,
She was
love
amazing.
her.
And there was a bunch of other people who were like quasi-famous, whose names I don't really know, but the cast was incredible. Laura Dern was in it. It was fantastic, and I could not recommend it more. It is like a little bit of like gossip drama, but it's like, that's the like, what's happening on the surface, and then underneath that there's all these inner workings and you're trying to figure out, okay, well this lady hates that lady, so maybe she killed some mystery person, because you don't even know who dies until the final episode. So anyways, it's riveting.
Well, I am going to make an exception because, you know, normally I don't watch those kinds of shows at all.
Sure.
But I'm making an exception after watching this actress roundtable I was telling you about, because Nicole Kidman, who is not one of my favorite actors, I like her, but like I'm not obsessed with her.
Same, kind of.
She impressed me so much. You know that she is the reason, she and Reese Witherspoon are the reason that show exists.
Yes.
They're like executive producers and they like made it happen.
So Reese Witherspoon has a production company, and it's called like Pacific something or another. But basically, she created a production company with the sole purpose of optioning books to screen adaptations for that embody and empower like women. So she did Gone Girl was her production company. She adapted that to the screen and she opted not to star in it. And then she opted Wild, which she did star in, and then she optioned Big Little Lies. And she has 12 books lined up.
First of all, I'm super supportive of that.
Isn't that
and think
crazy?
she's amazing, both as an entrepreneur and as a woman thinking about like women's rights.
I love
and
it.
seeing women's faces on screen.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, when she was talking about Wild, that was one of the moments where I was like, "Oh, you are not coming off well," because she was like, they asked her about prep time for Wild randomly, and she was like, "Oh, actually, I didn't have any prep time at all. I literally like finished shooting, got on a plane." Got off, put on hiking boots, and they started filming me. And the other actresses were talking about, like, you know, like delving into the work and like reading all this stuff. And she was like, no, I didn't do any of that. And I was like, well, good, but also...
It's interesting, too, because I guess there are different kinds of actors. Like, you know,
That's
there's
true.
like one end of the spectrum, Daniel Day-Lewis, like fucking out there, like...
Super method.
Yeah, super method. And then, like, probably there is this other end where it's just like... Nina Dobrev in the Vampire Diaries, where she's like, oh, did I show enough cleavage? Did I look pretty? Is that face okay? Okay, I'll see you later.
That's
fair.
And then
there's
and
everything
I guess I
in
can't
between.
judge people on
But
that.
I think it's interesting that Reese Witherspoon would be one of those people. She does play a lot of really shallow characters. I don't think The Girl in Wild is one of those. I mean, I didn't watch that movie yet, but...
Well,
it's interesting.
you know what? And I don't want to be unfair to her because, like I said, I'm not a big fan of hers, but just in that, I don't follow anything she does. So maybe this is like one of the very few projects she's ever done that she didn't really prepare for. And as you say, it came out well in the end, so who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have to prepare, then damn, don't waste your time.
Oh, but it came out mostly well because Nicole Kidman did all the heavy lifting. I mean, everyone's great, but like Big Little Lies.
Oh, you're talking about Big Little Lies?
Yeah, Big Little Lies is like Nicole Kidman's biopic. Like, she was so incredible. So, anyways.
So, this is actually a great launching point to talk about something that came up as a really persistent question for me while I was doing this research. And that is, what is a quote-unquote golden age of TV, and are we in fact in one? So, without any information that I'm going to give you, Morgie, first of all, do you think that we're in a golden age of television?
I think for my personal preferences, we are for sure, because now more than ever, there's so many TV shows I want to consume, and there's just not enough time, you know?
Yeah. I'm totally with you. For personally, like, as far as the kind of content that's coming out in this more like open world that we fostered that may be in danger. It's a little bit of a bummer, but seeing queer people on screen, seeing lots of like diverse communities on screen that are really fascinating, I think is lovely. But also like just random zeitgeist shit, like the fact that superheroes are super popular now, and fantasy is everywhere. So
it's going well for us.
It's great for us. Yeah, we're really being included, but you know, so that's our thoughts. Well, okay, so technically this is either the second or the third quote unquote golden age of TV.
Okay.
So the first one would have been the 50s, when like really people started to get TVs, and you would see things like I Love Lucy. And,
that was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was a golden age because it was like the first age, really.
Yeah.
And then, go ahead.
Oh, those shows were just, they stand up. Like, I Love Lucy is still fucking good
Leave
to
It
watch.
to Beaver is still funny,
Yeah.
by the way, which is crazy because I disagree with everything about that like, lifestyle, but it's hilarious. Well, people often call this the new golden age of TV, but some might call it the third golden age because some people consider the early 80s to be a golden age of television. Now, this one I disagree with.
Yeah,
I disagree.
I don't have any idea what was happening then.
I think it had to do with like distribution or something like that, because that's so often what the golden ages are about, right?
I see.
It's like in the 50s, people started buying TVs, so suddenly there was an age of TV, right? So almost de facto became golden. And then the early 80s, I forget what it was, but there was like a resurgence of people watching TV and less of like series. But I don't know. I think that's iffy. I do think that right now can definitely be considered a new golden age, or at least the second, because we were just talking about Hulu and Netflix and HBO.
Everything's changing.
There are so many new mediums.
We need our stuff on demand.
Because now anyone can, well, not anyone, I couldn't do it, but almost anyone could start a TV production company and be a channel, essentially. And so that has allowed for so much more content creation. Right? Because there are more avenues. So that's part of the reasons the golden age. But listen to some of the shows that have come out since the early 2000s. Okay? Oz, The Sopranos, The Wire, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Battlestar Galactica, Mad Men, Lost, 6 Feet Under.
Yeah. All heavy hitters.
I literally just got chills, which is weird. I don't know why. But I guess because all of those shows, they're not all to my taste, but they're all well done, long TV shows.
Long running.
Long.
Yeah.
And so people are really getting into that. Like, you know what? Why does a movie have to be an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours long? I can actually act in or write a story that lasts for 17 hours or 25 hours or, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's a big part of the golden age as well. I will say, and a lot of people were saying this online, that it could be a little scary because we might almost get into like a boom bust situation where we're putting so much into TV that literally we've almost reached TV saturation, right? That's what you were just saying.
Yeah, there's too much.
Like, we literally cannot watch everything. 400 plus shows premiered last year.
Yeah.
So it's like all those companies, if they don't make it, if they're not cream of the crop, they're going to shrivel and die.
Yeah, even if it's like really good content.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly. So that's a thing to fear. Just another fear to add to the future.
You know what's really interesting about this maybe being the golden age too is we used to have this idea that there were TV actors and there were movie actors. And that's almost non-existent.
Yeah.
I mean, you got people like Jude Law, Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman doing these miniseries on HBO.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, exactly. Fargo. Fargo has a ton of huge names. Billy Bob Thornton, Martin Freeman, all kinds of people.
Mick Parker.
Yep, that guy. So you see a lot of crossover, which I think is indicative of how well TV is doing, is that people are wanting to be a part of that more and more. And there's just a lot of higher caliber people. Joss Whedon, you know, people like that are directing that kind of stuff. And what else is good about it is because of HBO has been doing this forever, but because of Netflix and Hulu and stuff, content can be more explicit, like less traditional mainstream TV.
Thank God.
So we can have like nudity and like a little bit different kind of violence, and we can have language, which is so important to have freedom of language.
Really.
Yeah. And it's not always graphic. Like seeing a boob or like somebody saying fuck, it doesn't have to be a graphic thing. It's just a part of a story. And I love that we're embracing that more and kind of desensitizing that as like a bad thing, especially based on the awards that we're nominating and giving away, right? Where we're saying like, do that, do more of that.
Well, I have to tell you though, Morgan, I disagree because when I was 3 years old, I saw a testicle in underwear on TV, and then
now
someone said the word fuck, and it made me gay. Why?
So that is, if your child sees a testicle and hears the word fuck, they will grow up homosexual.
That is the magic spell. Yeah.
So keep your ears and eyes peeled for that situation.
So we agreed this is a golden age of TV.
So speaking of the kinds of things that we watch and why it's so great, I thought it'd be fun if we could just briefly talk about the things that we actually are currently watching and looking forward to. So I have a little listy list.
Yeah,
actually, I have a huge list, and I'm going to just sum it up. I'm trying to get through Arrow. It's a little painful. I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine ongoing. I catch that on Hulu. I don't tune in live because I don't have time for that shit. The Flash. Looking forward to the new season of that. Game of Thrones, of course, is stealing my heart right now. The Walking Dead. The Handmaid's Tale, of course. Looking forward to the next one. Sherlock on BBC. I love. Keep up with that. Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix. Stranger Things has a new season coming out. Better Call Saul from AMC is incredible. Master of None is like one of my new favorites. Glow, which is a new show on Netflix. I was obsessed with season 1. Can't wait for season 2. The Magicians, of course. Looking forward to season 3. And trashy TV that I love, Scandal. Scandal is a show that I keep up with. And Pretty Little Liars, which I'm currently waiting for the final season because it's so bad I need it to just be over already. It's painful.
I've heard so many big fans of that show say that. They're like, just end it, please.
Yeah. Oh, and I also watched Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, which I live by, and Silicon Valley, which is not as good as it used to be.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. So I've got a couple other things I've thrown in the mix that I'm trying out, but that's my list of like must watches.
Let's see. Well, I didn't prepare a list ahead of time. A lot of them are overlaps. So Game of Thrones and all the superhero you said, right? I watched that as well. But in addition, superhero is a big category for me. So I also watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Gotham, Legends of Tomorrow. Let's see. I'm actually trying to get through both Offices right now. Both the English and I know I'm late.
The Office.
Girl, I got to the part where, and I'm sorry if this is a spoiler for you, but this fucking came out years ago, so you need to get on it. Where the boss guy, what's his name in the American version?
Michael Scott.
Michael Scott. Where he leaves the office.
Oh, you're already there? You're almost done.
Yeah. I fucking bawled.
It was sad,
I cried
right?
so hard. What I love... Oh, anyway, that's fine. I'm watching that. We can talk about that some later date. Grace and Frankie. Frankie and Grace.
That's one of my ones that I've dabbled in, but I'm not like, I have to watch every episode, but I have seen that and I like it.
I watch that show immediately when it comes out. Transparent, I watch immediately when a new season comes out.
Oh, you like Orange is the New Black as a big
Oh,
show?
yes, I do love Orange is the New Black. I haven't watched Glow yet, but I watched like 1 or 2 episodes, didn't get into it, but I'm going to give it another shot because I love Genji Cohen. I'm trying to catch up on a lot of cinema right now, so I'm not really, because I'm a fancy lady.
It's so fun.
I'm watching a little bit less TV than normal, but I have a lot, girl. When the fall comes around, I've got hours of TV watching.
So many.
Yeah, Walking Dead also, big one.
Yeah. Okay, so those are some of our favorite things that we kind of keep up with. But let's talk about what the Academy thinks is good television. Let's jump into our Emmy predictions. Yes. Okay, we didn't really talk about how we were going to run through this, but why don't you just take it away with drama series?
Okie dokies.
The very best category, apparently.
So, yeah, that's the one that people care the most about, I guess. Mm-hmm. So you've got Better Call Saul, The Crown, The Handmaid's Tale, House of Cards, Stranger Things, This Is Us, and Westworld.
So,
now,
lots of heavy hitters.
Yeah, really good shows. I chose The Handmaid's Tale because I think it's new and interesting and innovative. And even though I haven't seen it, I love the book.
Yeah. And I also chose The Handmaid's Tale. I almost went with The Crown, but then when I thought about it some more, I feel like The Handmaid's Tale is going to get it. That's what I went with.
I think that Stranger Things might be...
That would be a surprise, but not like a terrible thing. It'd be like, oh, good for you.
Yeah, so I think if The Handmaid's Tale is a gift, it's going to be Stranger Things, but that's my guess. All
right, so comedy series. We have Atlanta, Blackish, Master of None, Modern Family, Silicon Valley, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and Veep. Now, we had some different choices picked here. This was... Oh, and you know what? Actually, I'm going to change my choice because we just talked about this.
You can't change it!
I'm changing it! Because I was under the impression it was season 1 Master of None, but if it's season 2 Master of None, I think the writing is incredible. So we both pick season 2 Master of None.
Yeah, because Master of None won some stuff last year. So that must have been the season 1,
yeah,
right?
For sure, because they're only on their second season, so... Yeah.
I think Master of None just deserves it. Like, I have to tell you, though, a lot of these I don't watch. I don't watch Atlanta or Blackish. Modern Family, really, I don't watch.
It's kind of like
Silicon
a tired
Valley.
Show to be, like, nominated.
Yeah.
People are kind of over it.
Yeah, it's been around for so long. If Veep hadn't won everything forever in recent history, I would have maybe voted for Veep, because I am currently watching that too, by the way, trying to get through it, and I do watch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on an ongoing basis.
But so not great. Like
but no, I don't
comedy.
think it should win. Yeah.
I think the backup to Master of None is Atlanta, because people really love Donald Glover, and it gets a lot of hype. But I'm going with Master of None.
Yes, okay. So next up, we've got drama actress. So we've got Viola Davis, How to Get Away with Murder, Claire Foy, The Crown, Elizabeth Moss for Handmaid's Tale, Kerry Russell in The Americans, Evan Rachel Wood in Westworld, and Robin Wright from House of Cards. Now, I went for Elizabeth Moss. Even though I wasn't impressed by her in the interview, I figure it must be a powerful performance. But you disagreed, which I'm kind of shocked, actually.
I do disagree, because her performance is fantastic, but I think that I feel like even if they say they don't do it, I feel like they do try to distribute the awards on the shows a little bit. So if I have a Handmaid's Tale taking home the best drama, which I think it will, I think they're going to give Claire Foy from The Crown the Emmy, because her performance was incredible. And also, they tend to favor like historical kind of like real life people. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So I think Claire Foy, she was great.
What do you think are the chances of Evan Rachel Wood winning?
Real small,
tiny,
baby.
I was actually
minuscule.
kind of surprised
Me
to
too.
see her.
Yeah,
on this
I mean,
list.
love her, but
yeah, she was great. But I just didn't think it doesn't hold up to the others.
Right. Okay, so counter to that, we have drama actor Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us, Anthony Hopkins from Westworld, Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul, Matthew Rhys from The Americans, Liev Schreiber from Ray Donovan, Kevin Spacey from House of Cards, and my baby, Milo Ventimiglia from This Is Us. I love you, Milo.
Come on the podcast.
Yeah, or just come wherever.
We're going to take it that way.
But for real, Milo is my baby from Gilmore Girls, so I love to see him getting nominated, but there's no chance of him winning this award.
Well, you know what? So you picked Bob Odenkirk, right?
I did.
Do you know that he's had 11 nominations and no wins?
It's crazy. He's so incredible. He's so incredible.
So this might well be his year, but I have to tell you, Anthony Hopkins, who's my pick, his last Emmy was in 1981.
Damn.
For some goddamn thing called The Bunker. So he hasn't been nominated even since 1990.
And you know what? He went on to do a lot of movies instead of he lived in the age of movie actor.
Yep.
But now that we're kind of like switching back. I think you're right, though. I think it's entirely possible that he might win, but I really want Bob Odenkirk to win, so I'm picking him.
Do you realize also, though, that Kevin Spacey has been nominated, like, every year for House of Cards and has never 11 nominations, no wins.
It's kind of crazy because he's also fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, people love Frank Underwood. That is his like pivotal character. But I don't know. I mean,
it's kind of a toss-up for this category.
It could go either way. I think definitely they're in the top 3 choices of people who will win the award. So I guess we'll see.
All right, so next up we've got Outstanding Comedy Actor. We've got Anthony Anderson from Blackish, Aziz Ansari, Master of None, Zach Galifianakis for Baskets. Do you watch that?
No, but it's on my list because people like it too.
I like Zach Galifianakis. Donald Glover for Atlanta, William H. Macy for Shameless, and then Jeffrey Tambor for Transparent.
Who has been cleaning up, but we both agree that this is not his year.
I hope not. I mean, it's not that, it's just, I feel like he's gotten the love. You know what I mean?
Right, it's time to spread that around.
Yeah, give that love to somebody else, Queen Bee.
So I went with Donald Glover from Atlanta with the same mindset that if Master of None is going to win the best comedy series, that Donald Glover is going to get Best Actor for Atlanta.
Which I think is fair. And you know the Emmy's better than me. I went for William H. Macy because he hasn't won any for Shameless. Aww. And that's insane to me.
And you love him.
That's another show that I watch consistently. I do love him, though. I will tell you, I watched their Emmy roundtable as well. And he came off as kind of, racist.
Oh, what?
I mean, racist is too big of a term. Perhaps, he and Billy Bob Thornton were like talking, and they both came off as like
period. They were
just both talking. But I love his work in Shameless, and I think he deserves a fucking Emmy for making that character likable. It's not easy to do because that dad's hateful. Jeffrey Tambor won the last 2, by the way, so it hasn't been a huge. Like, compared to Julie Louis-Dreyfus's run on Veep, it hasn't been, like, a huge run.
I think Transparent just won so many awards that it felt like a lot.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Aziz Ansari being nominated for this role, as Best Actor specifically?
I think that's fine, and he deserves a nomination. But I think as far as acting, that, like, he is carried a lot by his supporting cast. Yeah. And his strong suit is the writing on Master of None. So I think as a show, as a collective, it deserves awards, and as a writing person, he deserves a lot of awards.
And he won that last year. He won the Emmy for writing.
But as an actor, I think he's probably fine with not winning that. Yeah.
I was kind of shocked to see him nominated as an actor specifically, because I don't think that he is a very strong actor.
Well, we were just talking about this. The comedy nominations are really lacking.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there should be a lot more. I don't know. It's interesting. So speaking of that, the Best Comedy Actress category, Pamela Adlon got nominated for Better Things, who I don't even know what that is.
Right.
Tracee Ellis Ross for Blackish, Jane Fonda for Grace and Frankie, which was a surprise, and Lily Tomlin for Grace and Frankie, no surprise, she's amazing.
Totally.
Allison Janney from Mom, Ellie Kemper from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus for Veep. We both went mainstream with our picks. We both said they're probably going to give it to Julia again.
Yeah. I mean, that just seems like the safe choice. And really, I don't think... I considered Lily Tomlin.
Me too. She was my second.
She's my second. Okay, good. We're on the same page there. Sweet Jane Fonda. I just love the shit out of her, but I don't think...
It's Lily Tomlin's show.
It's definitely her
Frankie's the winner.
She's the straight man, you know? She's like, in the comedy, she so often is the one being like rational, you know? Also, I love Ellie Kemper, but I don't think she deserves an Emmy.
Maybe not right now.
No, not for this role. Yeah. And Alice and Janie I love, but I haven't seen that show.
So Mom is a show that also Anna Faris is on, and it always looks like, to me, like so like kind of bad. But I listen to Anna Faris's podcast and I love her so much. And when she has Alice and Janie on, they're like hilarious together. So I just assume the chemistry on the show is really good. So I'm thinking about checking it out. But again, who the fuck has time?
Yeah, exactly. Girl. I'm trying to rewatch 6 Feet Under right now, and I've just decided I'm not going to do that.
It's not going to happen.
It takes too long. I just don't have the time, you know? Okay, now life is so hard. Anyway, limited series. Big Little Lies, Fargo, Feud, Bet and Joan, The Night Of, which I don't know anything about, and Genius, which is put out by National Geographic, actually.
So I am pretty certain this award is going to Big Little Lies.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put my vote in for Feud, Bet and Joan, but the more research I did, the more I was like, fuck, it's totally going to be Big Little.
Interested in what Feud, Bet and Joan is, because that was new information for me when I looked at the Emmys list, and also it sounds like probably pretty funny. But I'm Big Little Lies. I'm just the love it's getting. I'm pretty sure it's going to take that award home, and I loved it, so I'm happy.
Well, and Feud, Bet and Joan got 18 nominations, so if it doesn't win Best, that's okay. Like it's gonna get Emmys other places.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it's got like period costume and makeup here.
For sure. So we're moving into a couple of, in my opinion, weird categories that I kind of was like, I don't really know. But limited series actor. So an actor from a limited series, I guess, whatever. Riz Ahmed from The Night Of, Benedict Cumberbatch from Sherlock, Robert De Niro from The Wizard of Lies, Ewan McGregor from Fargo, Jeffrey Rush from Genius, and John Turturro from The Night Of. Honestly, I literally had no idea what to pick, so I just picked Benedict Cumberbatch because I like Sherlock. I don't think he's probably going to win, though.
I thought maybe I picked Fargo, Ewan McGregor from Fargo, because I don't know, I like both those names.
Right?
So
It's
well,
tough.
and Fargo is like, it's a really good remake. It's got lots of love. Ewan McGregor's a great actor. Do you know this is Robert De Niro's first ever Emmy nomination?
Interesting, because he's a movie actor.
Because he's a movie guy. Yeah. But that whole Wizard of Lies thing,
you give zero fucks
girl,
about it.
and I'm mad. I'm mad because
how you really feel.
Well, let me tell you. Because that tragedy did not affect me or anyone in my tax bracket. It affected rich people. And I'm tired of hearing about rich people. God damn it. I want to hear about poor people. So that's why I don't care.
That's why I like The Handmaid's Tale.
Exactly.
I think they, because of that factor of like historical realism, that they might give it to Robert De Niro. But I also have no interest in that, so I could not select that. So good luck, Benny.
Yeah, be yourself. So limited outstanding actress in a limited series. Carrie Coon from Fargo, Felicity Huffman from American Crime. I love Felicity Huffman. That's neither here nor there. Nicole Kidman.
She's doing her giggles.
She's from Big Little Lies. Jessica Lange from Feud. Susan Sarandon from Feud.
Nice.
And then Reese Witherspoon from Big Little Lies. So you said Reese was fine, but not mind-blowing.
Yes.
Big Little Lies?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we both chose who I'm pretty certain is the winner of this category in Nicole Kidman.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think she doubly deserves that nod for being such an important part of making the process happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't she play like an abused woman?
She does.
Yeah. See, that's a difficult role.
It was incredible. Yeah.
She was talking about hunching on a bathroom floor in her panties and bra at one point, and she said that was the scene she was talking about. She was like, after we shot the scene, I asked them just to leave me and let me just lay there for a while because I felt so humiliated, and she was feeling all these like character emotions.
Yeah, she had a lot of things going on.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah. Okay, so that's probably happening. And then we have supporting actor in a drama series, which I didn't know what to pick because there's so many good choices. John Lithgow for The Crown. He plays Winston Churchill, a very old, very fat, very rude Winston Churchill.
Love it.
He was great. Jonathan Banks from Better Call Saul. Mandy Patinkin from Homeland. Michael Kelly from House of Cards, David Harbour from Stranger Things.
Is he the sheriff?
I believe so. Ron Cephas Jones from This Is Us, and Jeffrey Wright from Westworld. Was he Bernard?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I was immediately like, no, you don't serve me for that role. That was not impressive.
So I hope David Harbour was the sheriff, because now in hindsight, maybe he's not. But I picked him for Stranger Things because I thought the sheriff was hilarious and amazing.
David Harbour is actually Barb. But still, I think you would still vote for it, right? I chose John Lithgow from The Crown because I know these round tables seem to dominate everything, but that was one of the main ways I did research.
Charismatic.
And I loved him in the round table he did.
I think it's a solid choice. It's very possible he wins.
Yeah. And plus, he plays Winston Churchill, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a winning role.
Yeah,
that's a winning role.
So I feel like he's probably going to win, but I'm going to stick with Stranger Things because I like the sheriff.
Yeah, I think that's a strong possibility. So for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series, we've got Ann Dowd nominated from The Handmaid's Tale, Samira Wiley from The Handmaid's Tale.
Get it, girl.
Yeah. And then her former co-star Uzo Aduba from Orange is the New Black, Billy Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. Oh, what did I say, Billy? Mm-hmm. Now, see, that's what her name should have been.
BBB.
Chrissy Metz from This Is Us. And Thandie Newton from Westworld, who we both picked.
Yes, queen.
Yes, Killer Queen.
Killer Queen. She was my queen of Westworld, and I think if anyone deserves an acting award, I mean, besides Anthony Hopkins, would be our girl Thandie Newton.
100%. The second runner-up for me is Uzo Aduba. Because I love her, and I love Suzanne from Orange is the New Black, but she won last year, and I don't think she did anything super new with the role this year, or at least I didn't feel so.
My runner-up is actually Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, because when you find kid actors that are actually good at what they do, I think it's a really special thing, and I think she was really special.
She played 11?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
So she's my runner-up. She would be a long shot, but if she won, I would not be upset.
You wouldn't be mad.
But Thandie would. Thandie would be upset.
Oh, yeah, and then she would kill her. Because they are the characters
11 would use her mind powers.
Oh, shit.
And crush her skull.
Now that is about to the death I'd be into seeing.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, supporting actor in a comedy series. Nominations were Alec Baldwin from SNL, Louis Anderson from Baskets, Ty Burrell from Modern Family, Titus Burgess from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Tony Hale from Veep, and Matt Walsh from Veep. I felt like this was a weak category as far as nominations. Like Ty Burrell's getting nominated for Modern Family. Comedy's just lacking in general.
Who's Ty Burrell? Who's that?
He's the dad in Modern Family.
Oh, I do like him. But yeah, has he been nominated 1,000 times
sure.
before? I feel like he must have been.
But I went with Louis Anderson from Baskets because his role is really well received. He cross-dresses as Zach Galifianakis' mother
that sounds funny.
in Baskets. So, but he plays just himself, but he just is a woman. Like he's just wearing a wig and has makeup on and a dress, and it's very eccentric. And I actually heard this funny story that Zach Galifianakis was talking to Louis C.K. and he was explaining that he really wanted somebody to play the mom with the gumption and the rasp and everything that Louis Anderson has, and he really wanted to find that. And Louis C.K. was like, why don't you just cast Louis Anderson? He's not doing anything.
Right.
And he was like, I think I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I think it was the best thing for the show.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't watched that all, but you made me just want to watch it. Well, my vote's for old Titus Burgess from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. To me,
he is the heart of that show.
Yep, I was about to say those exact words. And he got to have more of a character arc in this last season. So
he did. Kimmy's arc actually sucked.
Yeah, it was almost
It was like the Jacqueline and Titus show.
Yeah, totally. Which I was into. Honestly, I'm fine with that. I do think Unbreakable's lost some of its...
Yeah,
it's not
maybe next season will be really good.
I hope so. But I would love to see him get an award because I just think he's wonderful.
For sure, that would be great. Okay, we've got supporting actress in a comedy series, also weak. Kate McKinnon, SNL. Vanessa Bayer, SNL, which it's her last season, so it's her last time.
I don't even know who she is.
She's just like the other girl. Oh, Leslie Jones from SNL, Anna Chomsky from Veep, Judith Light from Transparent, and Katherine Hahn from Transparent.
Katherine Hahn's the blonde-headed daughter, I think, isn't she?
Oh, girl, I don't know.
I think if that's true, she's my second runner-up because I fucking love her.
We both went with Kate McKinnon because she is the heart of SNL, and when she leaves, they're going to be very sad. Mm-hmm. So I think it's possible that she wins, but you're probably right. It could also go to that Catherine Hahn lady.
It was very weak, though. I have to say it was very, very
3
weak.
SNL nominations and 2 from Transparent.
And Vanessa Bayer, I legit don't even know who that is, and I watched Saturday Night Live.
Well, now you won't get a chance because she's like, bye, girl.
I messed up. And Anna Chlumsky, how do you say her name? Chomsky?
Oh, there's the L in there.
Chlumsky. I don't think that she is funny at all. I watch Veep and like it. She's hardly even comedic in that role to me. So
comedy categories need to step up the nominations.
Yeah. I could do better. Okay. If only I had breasts and a vagina and a career.
Aw, maybe next time.
Well. So, nominees for Outstanding Variety Talk Series. Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. Jimmy Kimmel Live. Boo. Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Yeah.
The Late Late Show with James Corden. Real Time with Bill Maher. And The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
There's too many late shows.
Yeah.
And I go to sleep early.
And look at all these white men up in this late show game.
I agree. That is the thing that Samantha Bee is bringing to the table. Mm-hmm. She's controversial. She's funny. Mm-hmm. And she's good. She's like Chelsea Handler, but like not quite as graphic. Mm-hmm. Much.
That's, you know what? That's what I really like about her is I feel like she will go there. She's not afraid to ruffle feathers. Mm-hmm. She's not doing like fucking... What's his face in just ruffling Trump's hair when he comes. Well, who did that old little young guy who worked with Tina Fey and then she cast that actor in Mean Girls because it looked like him?
Oh, Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon like softballs there. He's not even nominated this year, which I'm not upset about. But you picked John Oliver. Why?
Oh my God. John Oliver is amazing. This is one of those instances where his show is on HBO. And so he's not tied down to societal norms as deemed by network television. And he throws the F-bomb every which way, and he does it intentionally.
The fart bomb?
He throws fart bombs at his staff.
No, that's abuse.
He is amazing. Every show is like fresh and reinvented, and it's only once a week. So the quality, because he's not doing it every night, they put everything into that once a week like show that they do, and I look so forward to it. And he also goes outside of the box, and he's not afraid to ruffle feathers, and he is very intelligent and articulate, and he is a writer on his show. Like, he's a big writer. So it's not just him using the words of other people. You know, he knows his shit, and I trust everything he says. Everything he says, it's basically like a part of like my belief system, like blindly. Like, I love him, and it's fantastic, and everyone should watch it if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you've seen some of the hilarious clips that like go viral, and right now he's in the middle of being sued because he did a story about like a mining company, and they reached out to get like some information from the mining company, and they got a cease and desist letter, and we're told, if you tell like any stories about us on air, like, we will sue you. And he was like, well, let me tell you, we were going to talk about some other things today, but now we are only talking about this mining company. And they did some really intense journalism and dug really deep, and the mining company was really shady, and they're big Trump supporters, and he is... I don't think there's any person on television that hates Donald Trump as much as John Oliver does. And he's got a great outsider's perspective, too, because, of course, he's British. So, anyways, I could talk about him for days. He's amazing.
Ooh, you've definitely made me want to watch that show. Yeah. Your fervor won me over.
I love him.
I give it a shot, man.
And you picked?
Oh, and then I picked Full Frontal with Samantha Bee.
Because she's a fabulous.
Yeah, well, because I think she's the most honest. Well, see, I haven't seen John Oliver, but James Corden don't do shit. Bill Maher's honest, but he's so...
boring.
Yeah, horrible.
I agree.
Stephen Colbert I love, but I don't think he's found his stride yet. Okay. And Jimmy Kimmel I fucking hate.
I like him, but I love that you hate him.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a big category, reality competition, because the lineup has always been boring, and now we finally have something to look forward to.
Yes.
So the nominees are The Amazing Race, American Ninja Warrior, Project Runway, RuPaul's Drag Race. Yeah,
Start your engines.
And then Top Chef and The Voice. So we both unequivocally believe that RuPaul's Drag Race is the deserving winner.
This is incredibly obvious. It's the only thing on there that hasn't... I mean, American Ninja Warrior is new and actually is very watchable.
But it's also adapted from a better version.
Exactly. It's just, what was that show? Gladiator something? American Gladiator?
It's that mixed with that, like, Japanese show that we used to watch that was so funny.
Yeah, that was so ridiculous. Yeah. So it's not at all creative. RuPaul's Drag Race is the only thing on this lineup that is, like, new, exciting future of television. And they actually got 7 nominations total this year.
Get it, girl.
And RuPaul won Best Host last year. So I'm hoping we're just going to have a sweep.
I hope so, too. Yeah, because reality TV is so lame and boring. So it's great that they're coming in and changing that landscape. And they totally deserve to win.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So I'm going to hold my breath until they win, starting right now. Okay. Outstanding television movies. We've got Black Mirror, San Junipero.
We're confused.
Probably not how you say that, so sorry. Dolly Parton's Christmas of Many Colors, Circle of Love. Obsessed. I didn't vote for it because I'm not insane, but I love that.
Did you watch it, or you're just insane with the idea?
No, I just the whole idea. I'm just so happy.
That's kind of how the internet felt too when I was researching. They were like, "What the fuck? This is incredible."
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's good, bad, or shit. You know, it's like
Dolly
I'm
Parton.
a fan. Yeah. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, which we actually both voted for. I'm just going to spoil that right now. Sherlock, The Lying Detective, which was a masterpiece theater thing. And then that old Wizard of Lies from HBO.
Was it you or someone else was like, what's his name? Who's the guy that stars in that?
The Wizard of Lies, Robert De Niro.
Somebody was like, Robert De Niro's in The Wizard of Oz? And I was like, was that you? Or was that Aaron? I think it was Aaron. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
It's The Wizard of Oz.
Who would he in The Wizard of Oz? He could play a really good Cowardly Lion, I think. Or the Wizard. He'd play the Wizard.
For sure, yeah. Okay, so Henrietta Lacks, we think she's going to sweep that. Yeah.
Or the Wicked Witch. He would be really good as that. Yeah, we think it's definitely going to be Henrietta Lacks, though. It should be, I mean, in my opinion.
Okay, let's just quickly run through some more. We're not going to do every category, but we do have a list of like things that we think are of note. And then we'll just stop and talk about the ones that are important to us. Okay, so we have variety sketch series. We both went with Saturday Night Live to win that category. Strong year.
Oh, and the structured reality program, which includes such nominations as Antiques Roadshow, Fixer Upper, Lip Sync Battle, and Shark Tank, as well as a couple others. I went for Shark Tank. What'd you go for, Morgan?
I picked Fixer Upper because I have not seen that show, but bitches love HGTV.
Look, girl, I love me a structured reality program. I love me some Antiques Roadshow. I'm all about that. I love Fixer Upper. That's a great show. Shark Tank, I think, is the most interesting because I think it's the most modern.
Yeah.
Where they go on and like, it's really watchable.
They pitch like stuff.
Yeah, they pitch like, so it might be like a new invention or it might be a new business or, they're like entrepreneurs and inventors. I'll tell you what, though, if Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives wins the Emmy, I'm going to shave that fucking man bald. What's his name?
You hate that? Guy Fieri?
I hate Guy Fieri. I literally will turn the channel if even a commercial of his comes on.
He is quite
I'm disgusted
annoying.
by him.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't.
Well,
like
I'm glad now I know.
If I ever meet him, though, I'll be totally nice because I have no reason to hate him except everything about who he is.
Okay, so here's a category we do care about: unstructured reality program. Which side note? What's the difference between structured and unstructured? It's just like scripted or not scripted, or what? Okay,
I think so.
The nominees were Born This Way, Deadliest Catch, Gaycation with Ellen Page.
Sounds fun.
Intervention, RuPaul's Drag Race, Untucked. What's with that?
It's like the behind the scenes of the episode. It's so good.
Okay, and then United Shades of America with Kumar Bell. So, anyways, I picked RuPaul's Drag Race, Untucked, because I was like, I don't know what most of these things are, but I bet this one wins.
Yeah. I also picked Untucked. I will tell you, this is one of the picks that I was like, this is who I want to win because I fucking love RuPaul and I love Untucked. It's my favorite part of RuPaul's Drag Race. Nice. It's where all the drama comes out. I'm not certain they deserve the Emmy. I'm going to be straight up with you about that.
Is it on YouTube?
It is. It airs only on YouTube. It used to air on Logo after the show, but then I think 2 seasons back, they just made it a YouTube. So like a YouTube special.
So it's only for like fans who are real committed that get online and
They'll
check
go
it out.
onto YouTube. Yeah, which I think this is YouTube's only nomination.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
It's kind of a big deal.
I thought the other thing that might win is Gaycation with Ellen Page.
That was
because
my second
people
choice.
like Viceland, and then also I've just heard lots of good things about it.
I love Ellen Page too.
Yeah,
so.
she's cute.
All right, so hosts for a reality or reality competition program. We've got Alec Baldwin from Match Game. Didn't even know he did that. Kumar Bell from United Shades of America. RuPaul Charles from RuPaul's Drag Race. She won last year. Heidi Klum and Tim Gunn from Project Runway. Better Not. Gordon Ramsay from MasterChef Junior. And Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg from Martha and Snoop's Potluck Dinner Party.
This was shocking new information for me.
That show
about Martha and Snoop.
So funny.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
I'm gonna Google it.
Hilarious.
I mean, I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, you're gonna Google it.
Google it. That's so. What do they? Can you just briefly run down what they do on Martha and Snoop?
They've got a surprisingly lovely chemistry, and they essentially like make dinner party. They'll like pull together a dinner party.
Is Snoop like, yeah, I made these wee brownies for dessert, and Martha's like, ah, ha, 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 ha.
Kind of, yeah. But like, it's not just him like talking and then her doing all the work, which is what I was afraid it was going to be. Like, they both make stuff, they both bring ideas, they bring friends in.
Nice.
Yeah, I've only seen clips of it. I haven't even watched the whole episode, but it was I loved it.
Not the choice that we made, though.
No, it's my second choice, though. I would not at all be upset if they won.
It's my second choice.
I think this is kind of a tight category because Gordon Ramsay is like a master, and I love
that
him.
Show. We watched so much of that show when we were on vacation, and I don't watch like food shows, like that's not my jam at all, and I was like intrigued and obsessed.
So you've never seen Kitchen Nightmares?
I don't think so.
Oh, Queen is so fucking good. Gordon Ramsay goes into a restaurant that's failing and tries to help them turn it around, and like these restaurateurs are hot fucking messes. It's such good TV. He's amazing. But anyway, we both picked RuPaul.
Probably gonna win. What does RuPaul wear to the Emmys?
Ooh, he wears beautiful, bright, like suits. He looks amazing. Sometimes hats. I don't agree with his taste in hats, but nobody asked me.
Well, that's exciting fashion to look forward to. Okay, so next category, supporting actor in a limited series or movie. I felt like conflicted, but I went with David Thewlis from Fargo.
That's a made-up person I never heard of.
No, I'm changing that.
I
think I didn't mean to do that. I think I meant to say Alexander Skarsgård.
Seems more like
from
what
Big
you're
Little Lies.
into. I went with Stanley Tucci from Feud, Bet and Joan, but only because I love Stanley Tucci.
Seems likely.
I haven't even seen the show.
Seems likely. So probably one of those will win.
Yeah. Supporting actress in a limited series or movie. We can just fly through this real fast. We both went for Michelle Pfeiffer in Wizard of Lies. Is there any special reason why you did that?
Because I assume other people like Wizard of Lies, even if we're not interested, and I also assume Michelle Pfeiffer is fierce.
Yeah, I literally saw Michelle Pfeiffer and said, "Oh, there it is."
That one.
Yeah, that was all it was for me.
So directing for a comedy series. Actually, this is kind of a big category. There's a lot of like repeat. It's all the same shit. But I picked Donald Glover from Atlanta because it is his show and he embodies it, and if anyone's going to direct it best, it's going to be him, so he probably deserves the award.
That's why I picked him too. I was like, you are the hand in the creation of the show, so you should get love for that. Yeah.
Notable people were directors for Silicon Valley and Veep, which, whatever.
Yeah, those were of the 6 nominations, it's 1 for Atlanta, 2 for Silicon, 3 for Veep.
Crazy.
I'm tired of Veep. She's too popular. Directing for a drama series, we both went with Duffer Brothers. Is that how you say their name?
I think so.
For Stranger Things. Handmaid's Tale got a few. Better Call Saul, The Crown, Westworld, but...
It's always so hard, too, because they do it by episode. That's why there's multiple nominations. But I think, in general, Stranger Things is so beautiful to look at and so different from all the other choices that it's probably going to win.
Yeah. Well, now let's see, Morgie. Were there other important nominations you wanted to talk about? I'm looking through, and this seems to go on forever. There's so many different nomination categories.
I wanted to talk about writing for a comedy series.
Oh, fantastic.
So the nominations for writing for a comedy series were Donald Glover for Atlanta, Stephen Glover for Atlanta, Aziz Ansari and Lena Waithe for Master of None, Alec Berg, Silicon Valley, Billy Kimball, Veep, David Mandel, Veep. We both picked Aziz Ansari to win because He
and
deserves
Lena
that.
Waithe,
Yeah.
who I don't know.
His little co-writer. I think, hands down, he deserves that in this category. Like, if anything is deserved for Master of None, it's the writing award.
That's what I totally agree. Yeah. Well, and then just really quickly, for directing for a nonfiction program, have you seen Planet Earth 2?
I have not, but I
shit.
assume that it's amazing.
I really want to see it. I didn't even know there was a Planet Earth 2, and I was obsessed with the original.
I knew there was, but it like wasn't accessible, right? Because it's not on like Netflix or Hulu.
But remember, I own it because I'm obsessed.
The first one.
Yeah, I bought that shit. Yeah. Oh, but I see what you're saying.
The second one.
I have to find the second one. We both picked, I guess, different episodes.
I didn't know. I was just like, definitely one of the Planet Earth things is going to win. So I just went with the girl choice, and you went with the ambiguously gendered choice, which I think
whose
is fun.
name is almost Divas. It's Freddie Davos. So I was like, that's a fierce name.
Yeah, and I went with Elizabeth White, both from Planet Earth too.
Yeah. Oh, interesting that you, a white lady, would choose Elizabeth White.
Oh,
wow.
you noticed that, did you?
I did.
Writing for a drama series is also interesting. We both picked different choices. I went with the Duffer Brothers for Stranger Things for the writing, and you went with The Handmaid's Tale.
Which is interesting because you might be like, but Mick, it's based on a novel.
Right.
But that's why I think it's interesting, though, is because
they did a good job.
It's such a challenge to take a novel and make it into a TV show. And I also appreciate, even though I haven't seen The Handmaid's Tale, I've seen clips, and I've heard people talk about it as like a show that you really shouldn't binge watch. Like maybe you don't want to binge watch that because it's so dark. And I appreciate that they left the dark stuff in when they translated it to television.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about animated programs, because I actually feel like this is kind of a heated thing to choose between, and I'm not sure about all the things they nominated. So Archer was nominated, Bob's Burgers, Elena and the Secret of Avalar, which, what the fuck is that? Disney Channel.
Right.
The Simpsons, and South Park. We both chose Bob's Burgers.
I fucking love
It's
Bob's
so
Burgers.
good.
I was late to the game, but now that I'm here, I'm obsessed.
Also, H. John Benjamin, both in Bob's Burgers and Archer, so he's the king of animated series right now.
Well, why did you choose Bob's Burgers over Archer, though?
Because I kept up better with Bob's Burgers than I did with Archer. I love both of them. And also I think Bob's Burgers appeals to more people than Archer does. But I think they're both deeply hilarious.
I do too. I do too. I love them both. But I think I agree with everything you've said. And also Bob's Burgers, to me, it's easier to speak to real life issues. I mean, Archer can do that and does. But like the kind of show that it is, it's not as homey. So it doesn't allow for like... You know, on Bob's Burgers, they could talk about losing healthcare if they so desired. And it would make sense, right? They could make an episode about like, oh shit, well, we don't have healthcare again. So like, you know, we're going to be doing all of our own tooth extractions from now on, you know? Yay!
All right.
So, Morgie, are we going to post this somewhere so people can see?
So I was trying to think of a way to share our rubric and what we chose. I'm going to look into that, but we'll definitely share our percentage, like how well did we do, like which one of us got the most guesses, because there is like 1,000 more like things that are things to be nominated and choose between that we did not mention today, but we did fill out a rubric for those.
Girl, well, we're trying to keep this shit light and short for you, and had we gone through all that damn shit, by the end I had to tell you, Morgan, I was just marking shit.
Girl, me
it's like
too.
the GRE portion, or the math section of the GRE. I was just guessing as I went along. Alrighty, so... Oh, sorry. Alrighty, Morgie. So now that we've got our rubric under control, we've talked about the Emmys, could I invite you into Game Corner?
Ooh, take me there.
Ooh, Game Corner.
Playing some games.
Someday we're gonna actually
record
sing
like a thing.
little, yeah,
we're
have a
gonna
little
get
thing.
like a real theme.
It's gonna happen someday, but until then, so I would like to invite you to play a little quiz game with me. It's called The Secret History of the Emmys.
I love it.
Okay. I'm glad you love it because we're doing it regardless of what you feel. Anyway, okay, so I'm thinking that this is actually going to be a relatively easy game for you, at least the first part, because it's very basic. Remember, I'm a basic bitch. When it comes to Emmys only, Morgan.
Oh, okay.
Okay. First question. What are the 3 other awards that are considered to be on the same level for American arts with the Emmys? So Emmy's one of them. What are the other 3?
The Tony Awards.
Uh-huh.
The Golden Globes.
That's a whole different jamboozle somehow.
Something else.
Yeah. No one heard that. That's
the Oscars.
Yeah.
Oh, something else that's not the Golden Globes.
It's something that
the
you
VMAs.
Get.
I mean
really good guess, but no.
The like music awards.
The
great awards. The Grammys. Truth right now, I never watch the Grammys. I don't give a shit about that.
Me neither.
I don't care at all.
But like, so Oscars, Tonys, Grammys, and Emmys. And then do you remember there's that whole bit on 30 Rock where that guy's trying to get all three and put them on a gold plate necklace?
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. It's Tracy Morgan's trying to
Tracy Morgan. Yeah, of course. And he gets close. Does he actually do it?
I think he does.
I think he does. Okay, so good job with that, More. You're a little bit off, but I'm used to you being a little bit off. Shade. Why are the Emmy ceremonies always in mid-September? You had mentioned that earlier.
Is it because they follow like when normal broadcast TV like has launches and like end dates?
Exactly. They air on the Sunday before the official start of the fall TV season.
Nice.
Right? So that's really interesting.
It is.
That's cool.
I think I never thought about it before.
All right. Well, that's what I'm here for.
But I'm just a little lady. Think. I just got a little lady brain.
I know. That's so sad for you.
Would you like a sandwich?
I actually would. I'm starving.
So hungry.
Are you hungry too?
Let's talk about this after.
Number 3. Who votes for Emmy winners?
The Academy.
Yes. So the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, ATAS.
It's made up completely of Cylons, right?
Yeah, obviously. Just like every important voting body in North America.
That's how we got the shitbag president.
Girl, no, the Cylons would not. Well, unless they're trying to destroy the world. They would not elect that damn fool. That meatbag. Okay. They vote within categories, so say like choreography or like lighting.
You
or
think
makeup.
they just mark shit the way we did on our Emmy ballots?
Probably. And then they all vote on best show. That's the only thing that everyone votes on.
Okay, I see.
But they have to be like certified members of whatever their category is.
I find that extremely stressful. I would not want to be on that panel.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't mind. Because, girl, if you're on that thing, they send you DVDs of like all the different shows and stuff. Yeah, so I'd say it's totally worth it. Yes, I have a friend who was a screener person. Okay, number 4. When and how many voting rounds does the Emmy process involve?
When? Like what time of the year?
How many rounds are there and when are they?
It starts in the spring and there's 6 rounds.
Okay, so really good guess. No. So they vote on first round voting is for nominees in June, and second round of voting is for winners in August.
Oh,
it's only 2 rounds.
Oh shit, they do that. They cut that close.
Because they don't want people to spoil it. I bet.
That's fair.
Yeah. Okie dokie, you're doing horrible so far. Which actress, now it gets hard though, holds the record for most Emmys won by a single person for like single performance?
Can you give me like, is she still alive?
She, I believe, is still alive.
Okay, but she's real old.
And her first name sounds almost like something you would clean your house with. It's almost useless. Useless hint.
So, some lady whose name rhymes with duster or like vacuum. Is it Matthew Molly?
It's really close. It's Cloris, like Clorox. Leachman.
Dude, I don't know who the fuck that is.
You don't know Cloris Leachman?
Girl, no.
Well, this is awkward because I invited her here today.
Yes.
What? I'm Cloris.
Is she British?
No. Yeah, Cloris Leachman. She's won 8 awards for performance.
Oh, cool.
I know, right?
Good for you.
You go, Cloris Leachman.
2 for
8
you.
for you. Okay. What do Lauren Graham, Nick Offerman, Courtney Cox, and Portia de Rossi all have in common?
They never got nominated?
Well, they've been nominated, but they've never won an Emmy, even though all 4 of them... I don't know who Lauren Graham is, but...
That's Lorelai from Gilmore Girls.
Oh.
Why are you talking at me right now?
So all 4 have really strong followings, like
yes.
lots of popularity, but they've never won an Emmy. Which speaks to what we were talking
Portia
about.
de Rossi?
I know, right? Okay. I love Portia de Rossi.
She's
Those
in
eyebrows.
Scandal. Well, she was in Scandal.
Uh-oh. She died?
That bitch dead.
Oh,
spoilers.
Shit. No? Who is the only actor to be nominated for the same role on 3 different TV shows? It's fascinating.
The same role?
He played the same character, 3 different TV shows. Was nominated for all 3.
Oh shit, I don't know. Is it like it's
Gonna make you some scrambled eggs later.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
We can go to Seattle.
Oh, Frasier. I mean, his real name.
Kelsey Grammer.
No, his real name is Frasier.
Your name is Frasier. Yeah, he played Frasier Crane.
Cheers.
Cheers. Obviously Frasier. And then also on Wings. Do you remember that show, Wings?
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
shit.
He was nominated for all 3. I know, if he could just get his drinking under control.
Oh, is he a drinker?
Oh. He's totaled like various cars and gotten arrested for DUIs. Now, in the past, but...
I enjoy his cameos in 30 Rock.
I love him. Yeah, he's hilarious in 30 Rock. He also played La Cage aux Folles, you know that musical?
Nope.
It's about a queer couple, 2 guys in like Miami, and he played like the straighter of the 2, like the straight man of the funny duo.
Interesting.
Anyway, I saw him on Broadway.
Oh, cool.
Now this actor, this is the last one. This actor was the first person ever to utter the word enema during his Emmy acceptance speech.
Ricky Ricardo.
Really good guess. Great guess. If there was one guess that like encapsulated all that you are,
it was Ricky Ricardo.
Is that guess? No, it's RuPaul last year.
Oh,
when he won Best Host. Yeah.
And what did he say about enema?
He had said beforehand, he was like, honestly, I'd rather have an enema than an Emmy. Like he was like, I don't care about Emmys at all. And then he won, and he made some reference to that.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, good for you, RuPaul.
Awesome.
2 enemas for you.
Well, I also have created some games for you today.
Oh, God.
In the spirit, that was some shade.
I'm just kidding.
In the spirit of the Emmys, I created a hopefully not too complicated game, but we're going to do media mashups.
Ooh.
And so the way this game works is I'm going to give you 2 descriptions. Okay? So...
Okay.
Let me start over. So basically, we're going to review movies, TVs, books, and video game titles, and we're going to try to see what they can be mashed into to make a whole new thing, okay?
Okay.
So let's just do an example round.
Okay, good, because I don't know what you said.
If I was going to tell you that this TV show that I'm going to describe to you could be a mashup that stars Elizabeth Moss in a post-apocalyptic work, part 1.
Okay, that's Handmaid's Tale.
Okay, so The Handmaid's Tale. And then the second half of this clue is it would also feature John Cassier as an ancient crypt keeper.
Ooh, Morgan's Home Movies. No, I'm confusing
it's got to mash up.
Tales from the Crypt.
Okay, so what's that together?
The Handmaid's Tales from the Crypt.
You got it.
Yes!
That's a media mashup. Okay,
oh my God,
so
look
if
at
this is complicated, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm stupid, but I'll try.
So this media mashup is a TV show and a movie mashed together.
Okay.
And this media mashup would star John Hamm as media exec Don Draper.
So I got Mad Men.
And it would also feature small yellow creatures that did bidding for him.
Mad Minions?
Mad Minions!
Yes!
You nailed it!
I've never seen Minions and don't want to
Me
either.
neither. Same.
Over it.
But I would watch Mad Minions.
Oh, hell yeah! If there's whiskey involved, I'm down.
This media mashup would have couples answering questions about each other, which is an old TV show.
Is that... Oh, what's that called? Newlyweds?
The Newlywed Game.
Okay.
And it would... they would answer questions about each other shortly after their nuptials, and it would feature the Starks, Lannisters, and Targaryens.
The Newlywed Game of Thrones.
Yes, queen.
Yes.
So that would be like Sansa and Tyrion after they got married, and they would go on a show and like answer questions.
For the record, I would 100% watch that.
Hilarious.
No irony.
Actually, if that's not a thing already, we should create a YouTube channel of like the Newlywed Game of Thrones.
Hilarious. Yeah,
I'm gonna,
and they
like,
try
put
to
that in
guess
the
about
mental
each
bank.
other. Oh my God, that's a great idea.
Okay.
Copyright. Morgan.
Copyright.
I'm doing it.
I've done my due diligence. Okay, this media mashup would have Homer sitting around drinking beer.
Okay, The Simpsons.
While baby Maggie never ages, and it would feature a biker gang rife with drama and intrigue.
The Simpsons of Anarchy.
Yes.
That was a good one. That was a hard one.
The Simpsons of Anarchy. Okay, this media mashup will pair Benedict Cumberbatch's astro-projecting superhero
Doctor Strange
with a ragtag group of kids playing D&D and saving the world.
Doctor Stranger Things.
Yes. Yes. Okay, this mashup will follow the family life of Al Bundy.
Married with children.
And clash with a group of possessed children who run through fields of vegetables.
Married children of the corn.
Married with children of the corn. Which sounds like a terrifying prospect.
Yeah. That's it. Actually, that's what turned me gay right there. There's a whole lot of that possibility.
This media mashup will follow a world full of quasi-sentient robot hosts.
Oh, Westworld?
And merge with an online video game platform famous for causing teens to fail out of college.
Oh, World of Warcraft.
So what is
Westworld of Warcraft.
Yes.
Westworld of Warcraft.
This mashup will follow ways to make, sell, and die over blue meth.
Oh, Breaking Bad.
While also chronicling the life of a drunk Santa for hire.
Breaking Bad Santa. Gross.
Yeah, that's a not good mashup. I would not tune in.
No, that's ugh.
Okay.
Just when you thought Billy Bob Thornton couldn't be any grosser.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad Santa.
Okay, so last one. This mashup will follow storybook characters as they live together in modern times. It's a TV show.
Okay, Ever After?
Mm-mm.
Once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's not the full title of that show?
No. Oh, Once Upon a Time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
And will feature Jean-Claude Van Damme learning about time traveling and how to save his wife's life.
Once Upon a Time Cop?
Yes! Which is totally a thing I would watch.
Yeah, if you know what? If he's doing splits on kitchen counters, I'm down.
He's like hanging out with Rumpelstiltskin and he's like, what's that? I split! All right, I think you did good.
Thank you, Morgie.
Did you like media matchup? I had a lot of fun
it.
making
That's super
that
fun.
one.
I think next time when we do it, I'm not gonna say my guess for the first part. I'm just gonna wait and say.
Okay,
the full
okay,
title.
I like it. I like it.
Way, yeah.
Full title's great.
Yeah, like I'm playing Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
I call Vanna White.
Aww.
You can be Pat Sajak.
No, I hate him, Precious.
Sorry.
Can we just, what if, okay, new concept. There's no Pat Sajak, just two Vanna Whites.
Oh my god, I love
and
it.
we're just flipping boxes and flipping boxes.
And sometimes one Vanna White flips it, and the other Vanna White's like, I shouldn't have flipped that, and she flips it
and
back.
we just go up. We don't let the guests spin the wheel. We're just constantly spinning the wheel and just like making it rain money. It's a new, interesting concept. I think it could work. I think it could.
I think it's good. I think it's really good. Okay, Morgan, so unlike that beautiful fantasy, life is based on truth. Facts.
Okay.
And with that in mind, I prepared a two truth and a lie for you today.
Truthies.
Yes. Oh, that's horrible. And the thing is, you promised me that as a sign of our friendship, we would prepare a two truth and a lie every week for the foreseeable future for this podcast.
I may have promised it, but it's an attestament to our friendship that I did not bring one here today.
So I just want to put out to the court that Morgan's a bad friend. She's a skanky bitch, and you can't trust her with your man.
Oh, girl.
Okay, that's not true. Okay, first possible lie. There is an Emmy statuette engraved with the words, "Dick in a box." That Emmy exists somewhere.
Okay. Oh, okay. I think it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Possibility number 2. Each statuette costs $400 to make. And if actors want to take an Emmy home, they have to purchase it.
Oh, okay.
Possibility. The price is especially irritating because Emmy statuettes are covered in polished bronze, not gold.
Interesting. I think the second one is a lie. I think they give them the Emmys.
You think so?
Yeah.
So, actually, that's true.
They make them pay for the Emmy?
Mm-hmm. If you want to take an Emmy home, it costs $400.
What's the alternative? You're just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. You're just like, well, I won an Emmy, but I'm not going to take the statuette. I would totally take the statuette.
They recycle it, or?
They give you a, like, fake-ass one for stage, I think. And then you have one. I believe that's how it goes.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, I guess.
And so the lie was Dick in a Box did win an Emmy.
Yes.
Which is hilarious. And the lie is that actually they are coated in liquid gold. So they are gold, but they're not pure gold. Remember, it's only $400 for it. So it's like cheap metals on the inside, and then they dip it in gold.
Is it real heavy, do you think?
I think it is relatively heavy because it's not hollow. Okay. So, yeah, I think it'd be.
Interesting.
Right?
Well, I failed. What's new?
You did nothing. Everyone was prepared for that.
Well, speaking of failing, I created a game specially for you that you can't fail at.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
We're going to play a round of which one?
Which one?
Which one?
Oh, which one?
Which one? Okay, so just some little Emmy which ones for you here. Okay, so you got to tell me, which one would you rather have? Offred's life from The Handmaid's Tale or Bran's life from Game of Thrones?
Oh, shit, girl.
Which one?
Definitely Bran's, though.
Okay.
No doubt. I mean, he doesn't have no movement possibilities and life looks dim, but I am not being Offred, girl.
I guess you're a good hermit, so you and Bran could,
yeah,
like,
we'd be
kindred spirits.
fine. I'll be the three-eyed crow or whoever.
Okay, which one? Would you like to work on Parks and Rec or work on 30 Rock? Which one?
Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Because I want to be friends with those actors slightly more
That's fair.
than I want to be friends with the 30 Rock actors.
Which one? Would you like to write for or star in an Emmy award-winning show? Write for or star in? Which one?
At this point in my life, write for. I think
Okay.
I'd prefer to write. Starring is it's such a different business if you're acting.
I agree.
You know?
Okay, which one? Aziz Ansari or John Hamm?
Ooh.
Which one?
Oh.
Very different choices.
Just generally, yeah. We're talking about apples and small Indian men. Or if you prefer, oranges and white men. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. Large white men. I'm going to say John Hamm.
Okay.
Because... Oh, no, I don't know, though, because Aziz Ansari also writes.
Yeah, and he's funny.
Oh, but John Hamm is so sexy.
That's so true.
And hung, supposedly. Have you heard that?
No.
He's supposed to have a huge dick. I'm going to pick Aziz Ansari.
Okay.
Because I'm trying not to
I'm
be
kind
a
of on
size
board
queen.
with that, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of John Hamm, which one? Do you prefer John Hamm being funny or John Hamm being serious?
I actually prefer his funny roles, but overall, I'm going to say serious because I think he does better work with
I
that.
think he does better work being serious.
But
But
he's
I love that he
hilarious,
wants to be funny and that he wants to
And
do
he's
that.
good at it.
Yeah.
He's good at it.
Which one? Would you rather live inside the show The Crown or inside the show of Stranger Things? The Crown or
Stranger Things, because I wish I'd been like an 80s kid. I think the 80s seems like such a fucking cool decade.
Okay, I love that. Would you rather be friends with Robin Wright, who is, of course, from
House of Cards?
She plays whatever her name is. Or would you rather... Let me start over. Would you rather be friends with Robin Wright from House of Cards or Kevin Spacey, also from House of Cards?
Can I be friends with benefits?
Oh.
Because, girl, I love me some Kevin Spacey.
Interesting.
I know he's not really my type, like what you would think was my type, but I would break some off for that motherfucker. He's so sexy, that voice.
Woo, girl.
Oh, so Kevin
do you like
Spacey.
his Frank Underwood voice or just in general his voice?
You know what? I love his Frank Underwood voice is sexy, though kind of mean, but like in American Beauty, that like kind of characterization, I just find him so sexy in that. But it's his voice generally, I think.
Okay, that was intriguing information.
Who knew, right?
Okay, which one? Grace or Frankie?
Actually, it's not that hard. Frankie, for sure.
For
I mean, I love
sure.
both, but either character or actress, Frankie.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Lily Tomlin.
Sherlock or Watson?
Watson, because he always seemed kind of queer to me.
Oh.
I don't know why. He has a wife. There's no reason, but like queer sidekick.
It depends on the day which one I choose.
Well, Sherlock is such a goddamn know-it-all, too.
For sure.
It's like, oh, you saw something I didn't see. Whoop-de-doo.
Okay, 2 more. Which one? HBO or Netflix?
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Netflix because I think they're the future of TV in a way that HBO isn't, but I fucking love HBO, and it's the only subscription beyond Amazon Prime and Netflix that I currently have, and it's worth it.
Isn't it a horrible world to think of that you would have to choose between those two things? Because you would lose Game of Thrones, Westworld, miniseries, documentaries, all that HBO goodness. You would lose all of it. But to lose Netflix? I don't think you could do it.
Yeah, I have to go with Netflix.
Can't do it. Last one. Emmys or Oscars?
Emmys, because I think that TV is the future in a way that movies maybe aren't necessarily.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess it's a good thing you picked Emmys because that's what our whole episode was
What?
about.
But I've been talking about the Oscars the whole time and my Grammy.
Oh, no. I love it. Okay. Oh, that was a lot, baby. Thank you for joining us on our journey today, depicting all things the Emmys.
I would say this is probably the best Emmy podcast that has ever existed.
Hashtag YOLO.
I hate you. I hate me. I hate us.
So we will be posting more information about our Emmys predictions, and the Emmys should be coming out shortly after this podcast airs. So make sure you guys tune in to whatever bullshit network channel it's coming on.
ABC, NBC, Fox, and one other are all going to show it.
That's crazy.
I know.
So, yeah. So tell us all your feelings about the Emmys. Let us know if you share our predictions. You guys can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at BNBcast. If you want to follow me personally on Instagram, I'll be at Morgandolph. Perhaps I will live Instagram all my photos from my Emmys party I'm probably hosting.
Woo-woo.
You're invited if you want to come.
Oh, I'd love to.
Okay. Also, you guys can email us at beautyandthebee@gmail.com, or you can find us on our website at bnbcast.wordpress.com.
Absolutely. I just want you guys to know that Morgan only invited me to her party because you guys are here. Aww. That's the only reason. She doesn't ever invite me to anything. And after we finish up the podcast, she puts the ball gag back in my mouth and makes me get back into the trunk.
I don't see the problem.
Me neither.
Okay, great. So thank you for joining us today. We had a couple of other plugs for things that we just wanted to recommend in general in life. I would like to recommend for you guys a new trash show that I already mentioned once that I'm loving, Riverdale. The CW for me always hits it out of the park with trashy TV and also superhero TV. So if you haven't seen Riverdale, it's the first season's on Netflix. Girl, I've been binge watching it when Aaron goes to play X-Wing, and it is my jam.
So many people have been raving about
Love it.
Did you read the Archie comics?
No, I mean, I'm familiar with them, but like I don't know anything about it.
There was like maybe a year-long period of my childhood in which I like actually cared about Archie and Jughead and Veronica and Betty. Whoa. I heard there's a gay character now though. Is that in the show? Is he in the show?
He's like Betty's other biffer that's not Archie.
Okay,
he's fabulous.
All I ask is just throw in a queer character. I will watch anything.
Yeah, he's great. He's one of the best characters for sure.
Oh,
I mean, he's the other main character besides all the characters you just named. So, yeah.
Well, funnily enough, my plug this week doesn't have any queer characters in it. Weird. So I'm going to set myself on fire after we finish this. But I'm plugging Terrace House, which is a reality TV show on Netflix. Terrace House is fascinating because it's like the real world, except nothing happens.
Interesting.
Nothing happens. So it's about, I think it's 6 Japanese young adults, or maybe half Japanese, some of them. Now, the first 8 seasons were set in Japan. And they were set in a modernistic house that had a terrace. Hence the name. It's like a big, beautiful terrace. And literally, it just follows their lives. Charts the tiny roommate dramas they have. Like, they still go to jobs. If they're students, they still go to school.
Interesting.
So it's got 8 seasons in Japan, got a cult following. Then Netflix partnered with this Japanese studio. They took it to Tokyo, did a season there.
Ooh.
And then the most recent season is on Netflix. And it's all subtitled, though sometimes they speak in English. And if you're feeling stressed out or upset about the world, these sweet, sweet Japanese young adults will make you feel better about life. They're so cute. They're so polite. And just watching them calms my nerves. I literally
love that.
Yeah, and girl, something needs to calm your nerves. Because you're
frazzled.
You're frazzled. You're frazzle dazzle over there. Yeah, it's sad. So yeah, you should spend about 8 hours watching Terrace House.
I'm on it.
Yep, it's on Netflix.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us, and we had so much fun. Can't wait for the next podcast.
Oh my God, speak for yourself, Morgan. I ain't thanking nobody for nothing. I earned this Emmy. This Emmy's mine.
Well, that's Mick on his way to EGOTing, so...
And fuck all y'all!
Enemas.
Bye, baby.
Bye-bye. You're gonna win a Grammy for that.
Ergot, here I come!